I know all of you that noticed are really excited to hear from our very own Jay Sanchez. So I want to tell you a little bit more about him that most of us don't know. And he was very modest. He didn't want to share too much, but I'm going to share it with you. So we do all know that Jay is from Venezuela. Very, very proud. He's been married 50 years to his beautiful wife, Elena, who is becoming a member of the Impact Club. They have 2 married children and 4 grandchildren. Jay graduated from Marquette University in Milwaukee. You wonder what a man from Venezuela, how he ended up in Milwaukee. With a BS in mechanical and industrial engineering. He continued studies at the University of Pennsylvania School of Business, otherwise known as Wharton, and the Instituto de Estudios Superiores de Administración. Sorry if I butchered that. In Venezuela. He had his career in engineering and management within automotive parts manufacturing and metal mechanics sector in Venezuela, Colombia, and other South American countries, the US, Canada, Europe, and Africa. The last 20 years as president and general director, PDG of Arvin Meritor Europe, and worldwide president of Remy International Power Products. 25 years of volunteering in civil defense in Venezuela, with specialty on logistics and water search and rescue. He served in the Venezuela Armed Forces for 7 years. Yeah, you guys, I didn't know a lot about this, about Jay. He was also a member of the professional and institutional and service organizations in Venezuela, France, and the US as a member, director, and president. He opened and operated his own scuba diving center in Venezuela as an instructor, trainer, with Elena as manager and his son as the master instructor. As a Rotarian, what has Jay done? He became a member of Rotary in 2013. From day one, he worked on the Run for Tomorrow committee, later becoming chair and having the opportunity of teaming up with Frank Dreyer, Cristiano, Pete Pesci, and the rest of the Run crew. He was the chair of the Firefighter Exchange Program with Argentina. He says, thank you, Joe. And he was also the golf ball drop chair last year. He was responsible for creating the Rotaract group at Nova University. He was a member and board of directors of our club, and he was president of our club in 2021. He brought us through COVID of having to be on Zoom, and it was amazing what he and his team did that year. He was the Rotarian of the Year in 2018-2019 and he was awarded the Service Above Self designation from our district in 17-18. Above all, he says he's very, very proud to be a Rotarian. Jay, the floor is yours.
Let's try that. Good morning. Let me see. This thing has got to go back. There you are. First of all, I would like to thank our president, Jackie, because she's the one that had the wonderful idea of giving you this hard time this morning. I would like also to thank Dan Fitzgerald for helping me put together this simple presentation, and Mercy, that was the one that said, oh, what you are saying sounds so nice, you should say it to everybody. So it's your fault, Mercy. Basically, a couple of days ago, we had the pre-induction. That's the name that we are giving of membership with my wife. And after the pre-induction, which is an interesting experience, we said, what can we do better? What else can we improve? And there is where I made a presentation of saying, how do I talk about Rotary to the people around me? Because, you know, they look at us and they say, so you're a Rotarian. What faith is that? Oh, you're a Rotarian. It must be a political party. So are you on the right or the left? Are you up or down? So I said, well, sometimes I think we are short of words when we say, I am a Rotarian. So, we introduce people like Dr. Mo, and people says, well, what do you do there? Are you a clinic? Are you a help center? Are you a shirt design center for a new design of clothes? So we say, that's a simple one. I have a quick answer for you. Here we are. We are all of that, all of those things that we have there. And, the answer when they hear that is, well, everybody does that. So what is it that you offer me? I got a better one. I think I can do one better than this. We have a lot of fun, don't we? We look, for example, at Michael Freeland sitting in his corner table and we say, oh, that's fun. And there are 1.2 million of us doing that. We do very hard work and we bring the family in. We are now in this thing of 2-for-1. You bring your wife and you get a discount. We have a lot of good people here in this room. Yes, but also the Scouts of America. So what do you offer me? I don't know, So what makes Rotary unique? I had this question asked to me many times. I came to join Rotary right after I retired. My daughter-in-law, who was a Rotarian friendship ambassador traveling to Australia, told me, I understand that they cannot put up with you at home. We got to get you out of here. Well, what makes Rotary unique is that it is a humanitarian organization that has as a cornerstone in its definition the word peace, nothing else. And when you read that, you say, wow, so why is it so important to you? Because Rotary believes that anything where we have a group of people working together towards peace in the world, we make a change, an impact in community. What some people don't talk about is that Rotary, since 1944, is being a member of the United Nations. And we have a position in that organization which is very unique because no other private, non-governmental organization has that level within the United Nations. We have a word when it comes to saying, where is the world going? And as an organization, Rotary was selling the idea of United Nations right after the war. Not a good time to do that. People were in a fighting mode. Rotary was already talking about peace. So they said, yes, peace is the top of the line, but there are other pillars, other columns that make the difference for our organization. And the Boy Scouts cannot offer this. They don't even have a Joe Roth in the Boy Scouts. So we talk about all these things that you see in this list. And the question that usually comes up is, God, that's a lot of things. So why are they so important? I want you to pay attention to the idea and the numbers, please, because they're so large and so difficult to fathom that you will find yourself wondering if they're true, but they are. We check them out over and over again. How can there be peace if there is no food? And as a way of measuring food, we find that 800 million people in the world lives with less than $1.90 a day for a whole family in some cases. How can you feed that people? Well, Rotary members, we have a passion about this. We work in food banks, but we have a new challenge. Until now, every time we talk about this, we say, don't give a fish to the man that needs to be fed. Teach him how to fish. Well, we have a new challenge. We have not to teach him how to fish. We have to teach him how to have fishes in the pond, because the population keeps growing, and the more people finds how to fish, we're going to end up fighting for fewer and fewer fish in the pond. How can you have peace without health? How can you turn around and look at the people that are in need of the basic living conditions and tell them, oh, you got to think about peace? Oh, you got to turn around and make yourself an elevated point of view and say, no, I'm okay. No, 4.5 billion people don't even have access to basic health in the world. Through Rotary, we have gone one step and place our focus on the fight against polio. 99.9%. A week and a half ago, we got the horrible news in the area of Gaza. They're finding 2 cases of polio. So now we have Afghanistan and once again in Gaza. Please, this is only the very tip of the iceberg. And I would like to bring up the memory to those that knew it when this thing happened, the thousands of people that we knew that lost their limbs, their walking capacity. You remember the picture with the big cylindrical iron lungs because they could not breathe? This is part of the fight. Water. How many have participated in water programs? But people turn around and says, oh my God, why water has to do with peace? Well, it has to do with a lot of things. I remember once we were able to set up and rebuild a well in Haiti. And over there, one of the indicators that Rotary reported back to us was children in a school age going back to school. And it went from something like 10% to something like 90%. And being an engineer, I turned around and said, what the hell does the water have to do with the schooling? Well, when kids got to be 9 or 10-year old, all they did was go up and down the mountain carrying water buckets. Now they can go to school. So we have done a lot. We look at the water, 2 billion don't have access. And 3.6, so almost 6 billion cannot be sure if they will have water the following day. How can they have health? How can they cook the food that we are going to try to get to them? How can they survive and have health in their home? So we give them food. So we teach them how to fish. We tell them how to keep the fish in the pond. We go out there and we give them all the basic needs, but they don't have education. And if they don't have education, they will do nothing without it. So now, for the first time, somebody will turn around and say, oh, wow, now I understand why the golf tournament is so important. It is important because we are building a level of education that allows the people to understand that they need to bring together tools, social tools, emotional tools, and know-how tools to keep on going forward as a society. Before, when we were talking about water, I should have mentioned that my father-in-law back in 1955 created the School of Engineering Sanitation in Venezuela. At that time, he was the youngest dean of a major engineering school in all of the Americas. And his major project that stands to this day was in the sanitation engineering department to build a water treatment plant, still working. And he used to say all the time, the next world war will be because of water. So we need the water and we need the education of the people to understand how to protect it and how to project their life based on these basic needs. The education, we have 1,000 opportunities because education comes at all levels. It's not only taking a kid in high school, it's not only teaching math or medicine or science, it's also telling them how to make a life together. And that education starts with the family. What are we without a family? And look at these numbers. 1.5 billion people face absolute social isolation. 2.3 billion people don't have access to what is known as social protection. How are we going to care for these people? How are we going to teach these people to care without this support? Where will they get their strength and the resilience that is needed as a society to go forward into the future? I mentioned there in a couple of the slides, we're working, but the work is not finished by far. So if Margarita were here, she will be jumping up and down. Well, she always jumps up and down. And she will tell us, of course, what are we with education, with food, with health, with all these things if we don't have an environment that is safe and protected? What happens, what we can do when we see rivers drying out, lakes disappearing, that we are seeing the ocean on the other side rising and engulfing cities around us? So what's the use of all the other effort? We have to bring all this together as a concert, like an orchestra that has to come around and say, let's all wrap our efforts around protecting the environment. We will not have a life. We will not even have a chance of existence if we cannot have a clean and sustainable environment. So Rotary, different than the Boy Scouts, created this concept. It's a simple concept. We mix together the food with the health. We mix together the water programs. We bring education. We bring family. We bring healthy environment. We mix all of that through each one of you, even if you are not aware of it, and we come up with a formula for peace. So every one of these programs is the secret ingredient. We need peace as a way to change the world. And as the principles say, if every one of us would move 1 inch every day in this direction, the world would be better. Einstein was asked once, how are we going to fight the Third World War? And he turned around and says, I don't know how we're going to fight the Third World War, but I know how we're going to fight the fourth. It's going to be with sticks and stones. And we are in the process of going there. If people like all of you in this room don't turn around, raise your hands and say, we have a challenge. So let's talk about challenge. A call to action. And the one that brought this call to action is our Rotarian Martin Taylor. And he came with a simple question. What is our legacy as a club, as a Rotarian, as a member of this community? He brought the challenge a couple of weeks ago, and I'm passing that challenge to you. I'm telling you, let's take a step and let's look at what is known in Rotary as a peace builder club, which means a club that promotes peace and conflict promotion in every way and in every program. And from there, let's move to the next level. We could be the promoters of District 6990 Rotary Peace Center and Fellowship. There are 7 in the world. This is an opportunity for us in our geographical location, the door to Latino America, to turn around and create a center like this with a local university. Take that call, grab it. If you're a guest today, if you're a first-time visitor, please look at this and tell to yourself, let's look for this opportunity. It is unique. And that is what lies in the center of the heart of the Rotary organization. So this is a show and tell. I don't know about you. I don't know what you think of what we are doing here, but I know what it is in it for me. So I'll share this. When you open up your life and you start looking through your closet, you start looking at all the hats you had in your life. Most of my hats in the education level were with the Jesuits. I have to tell you, they were tough. And they were tough all the way from grade school through university. With them, for being tough, I was able to graduate and develop as a professional engineer, a profession that opened up doors for me to learn and to move forward into new learning opportunities. Then I opened up to other experience like we have in the military, an experience that took me in as a diving instructor, professional diving instructor, to build a scuba diving shop. In those last two, it was not only to be able to go and enjoy and discover the beauty of the many things that we have around us. I also had the opportunity to discover and live the rewards and the horrible realities of our life as a human race. I think of Todd and our police chief, and I turn around and say they have that learning interaction every day of their life. I can only hope that in your own experience, you can turn around and come up with a commitment for and a commitment with the future, a commitment to say we have to make it out of this together. We don't have a chance if we don't do it together. And we can only be together if we are in peace. The Olympics just went through. People don't realize how important they were for humanity. Every time they lit up the famous flame for the Olympics, the ancient world will declare the Olympic peace. And for 3 or 4 years of their time, they will turn around and have an opportunity as a society to project itself, to grow, to cultivate culture and education. So now we have an opportunity, and I, for one, pass with my professional experience through other societies, other countries, other life, where I learned that the common needs that we have are the same, regardless of the language, of your wealth, of how you look and what you do and how you dress. With that, I brought myself to that commitment. And I'm so happy to be able now to wear this hat. So going back to the initial question, I am a Rotarian. Do you know what Rotary is? Well, yes, I'm starting to know. I invite you to take this journey together. I invite you to look at this opportunity and to think we have to make it together. And these are the tools, and this is the place where you can make the best of those tools in your hands. Thanks for your attention, for your patience, and your Rotary work. Thank you, sir.